Hello, I'm Kimberly, and welcome to the weekend edition of the Native News Update. It's Friday, December 20th, and many of the stories you hear here can be found at IndianCountryNews.com. And here's the news for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. Chippewa Federation members representing the full tribal councils of 6 Chippewa bands of northern Wisconsin affirmed their intent to support the further issuance of both harvest and scientific research permits for public lands in Iron County and the Pinocchio Range of Wisconsin at a Lac du Flambeau meeting on December 19th. The site is slated to become the first phase of a 22-mile-long processed open-pit mine by an out-of-state mining interest headed by the 17th richest person on Earth, Chris Klein of Florida. Klein is generally known for his mountaintop removal techniques for coal in West Virginia. In response to tribal efforts to develop and issue their own draft civil permit for a notice to enter public lands for research, the Iron County Forest and Parks Committee on December 8th voted unanimously to the full Board of Supervisors to evict tribal members at the LCO Harvest Education and Learning Project research site. The agenda item to reaffirm the eviction by the full 15-member Iron County Board of Supervisors was pulled from the agenda on December 17th after the county's insurance company requested to review the potential cost of the eviction confrontation with Wisconsin tribes. Montana Senator Jon Tester announced that Carla Lott and Sierra Howlett would lead his outreach and work with Montana's Native Americans. Lott, who will be based in Helena, is the first member of the Blackfeet Nation to receive a commission in the U.S. Army. She joins Tester's staff with a wealth of Indian country and community development experience, having served on numerous Indian education, economic, and veterans committees. Howlett will serve as a legislative assistant for Indian Affairs in Tester's Washington, D.C. office. A member of the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes, Howlett attended the University of Montana and Harvard Kennedy School of Government. Prior to joining Tester's policy team, Howlett worked on tribal issues both in Montana for the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes and nationally for the Early Head Start National Resource Center. Senator Tester, a member of the Indian Affairs Committee since his first day in the Senate, recently brought Indian Affairs Chairman Maria Cantwell to Montana. He is also backing bipartisan legislation to recommend new ways to reduce childhood poverty and abuse in Indian country. Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker has signed a controversial piece of legislation that will make it more difficult for the state to require schools to change team names that may be offensive to Native American tribes. The bill rolls back a 2010 law signed by Walker's Democratic predecessor that would force schools to change potentially offensive team names and mascots if complaints were filed. In a statement, Walker said protecting freedom of speech outweighed those complaints. He hopes schools would change their team names voluntarily. The new law will allow complaints against a team name to be considered if submitted along with signatures equal to 10% of the student population in the district. Those complaining will have to prove the team name promotes discrimination, and any complaints will be heard by administrative law judges at the Department of Administration. A member of the Oneida Tribe who led a state Native American task force on mascots and team names said she would consider legal challenges to the new law. A long-time standoff between the owner of the Strawberry Island in Lac du Flambeau and the tribe is a step closer to being resolved. This week, the tribe's land management office told the tribal council that they came to an agreement to acquire Strawberry Island for $250,000. The tribal council passed a resolution approving the sale. The island is on the National Register of Historic Places and was the site of a fierce battle between the Lakota Sioux and the Ojibwe people. The tribe has wanted to buy the land from the Mill family but could not come to an agreement. Tribal officials say the sale is contingent on specific provisions of the agreement. Lac du Flambeau tribal spokesman Brandon Toms says the island has deep historic roots. Part of the migration story from when the tribe migrated from the Atlantic coast down the St. Lawrence River to the Great Lakes region. It holds a spiritual significance within the tribe, and for years the tribe has pursued efforts to acquire the island. Toms says some contingencies need to be met, but they are anticipating a large celebration in the spring to note the return of the island to the Lac du Flambeau Band of Lake Superior, Chippewa. The First Nations Experience Network will be premiering the first full-length non-documentary series the Native American Network has produced in-house. Native Shorts features 12 short films that were produced, premiered, or showcased at the Sundance Film Festival through the Sundance Institute's Native American and Indigenous program. The network, which went on the air in 2011, is the first 24-hour American Indian channel and is broadcast on PBS and stations nationwide and in Southern California on DirecTV and Verizon Fios. The first episode will premiere on December 24th. The co-host of the Native Shorts are Bird Running Water, director of the Native American Indigenous Program, and Ariel Tweedo, who also hosts the Discovery Channel show Flying Wild Alaska. For more information, you can check out fnx.org. The Sundance Institute's Native and Indigenous Film Lab has announced that submissions are being accepted for its 2014 Native Lab Fellowship. The Film Lab offers aspiring Native American filmmakers opportunity to receive hands-on guidance from professionals in the field. Bird Running Water is director of the Sundance Institute Native American Indigenous Program. He says the idea for a Native Film Lab began with Sundance founder Robert Redford. Running Water says the Film Lab Fellowship allows 4 emerging Native American filmmakers to have their scripts or story ideas reviewed by 4 established filmmakers. The Sundance Institute's Native and Indigenous Film Lab takes place on the Mescalero Apache Reservation in New Mexico. Applications for the fellowship must be received by February 3rd. For more information, you can check out sundance.org/native. And that's another roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me and have a grand day.